I box his ass up like a kid's meal. I box his ass up. We ain't talking shit out, nigga. This ain't Dr. She don't like the nigga. Told me where his mama live. Just for a favor. She wanna die today. Already slid through the ops. They not outside today. Don't count with us. We knocked them out. But you ain't gon' graduate. Hit his head. We saw him fall. We know he passed away. Damn, that shit crazy. They ain't outside today. I'm probably somewhere. Get my dick sucked. I'm a bitch. I didn't get full rub. We draw like artists. Parties. Since we got fucked, we shook up. Every time she want your show, turn look up. This shit crack, I cook up. Every time big bitch, we stars, look up. I ain't finna play with nobody. I'ma just up my glove, let out shots, catch me a body. I pop bars and sip drink, I don't do no molly. Why you got that fucking gun? He ain't gon' shoot nobody, bitch. You a bitch ass nigga. Straight up bitches look at me like he one rich ass nigga. Back then, I was one jump your fence ass nigga. I got him, boy, you 6'9", you a snitch ass nigga. Only 6'9" and we doing this with bitches on game. Wanna die today? Already slid through the ops, they not outside today. Don't count with us, we knocked them out, but you ain't gon' graduate. Hit his head, we saw him fall, we know he passed away. Damn, that shit crazy. They ain't outside today. I'm probably somewhere, get my dick sucked by my bitch, I didn't get full rub. We draw like artists, parties, since we got fucked, we shook up. You want your show, turn look up. This shit crack, I cook up. Bitch, we stars, look up.
You ain't gangsta, nigga. On folks, you see through bitch. All that raw shit, we slaughter. Shit, I wanna be you. Your mom gon' cry today. With extra clips, we reload. My niggas dog, Chico. Smoke your ass like Nino. Them my chicks, sticks, blicks, sliding in that Vino. Exotic gas, diesel. Stake your life, repo. See that chain, Debo. Boy, your bitch, we know. Keep it 100, C-No. 50 strong, free smoke.
Who wanna die today? Already slid through the ops, they not outside today. Don't count with us, we knocked them out, but you ain't gon' graduate. Hit his head, we saw him fall, we know he passed away. Damn, that shit crazy. They ain't outside today. I'm probably somewhere, get my dick sucked by my bitch, I didn't get full rub. We draw like artists, parties, since we got fucked, we shook up. You want your show, turn look up. This shit crack, I cook up. Bitch, we stars, look up.
Oh my god, this song is
Mucinex
beast, bro.
All-in-One. You've got unbeatable relief from your worst cold and flu.
Ice on me, bitch, and give me the chills. I want they dog for real. I pay all my mask on. I think I'm too terrible. Every week I go and see my brothers at the center. I got so many guns, I started bitching. I got a 4-5 and it take at least 4-5 lives away from your bitch. I'm with the gang, we slide. You don't want to get here, you don't need to hang with those people. Check the scope, the eyes be lying. I swear to God, we are not here. Niggas be thinking they really be high. See, peekaboo, pussy, I see.
Yeah, it's a war song. We don't stop until.
Shout out DG Product, you hear me?
Look at where you're walking. Shit, we talking what you fucking talking. Talking about talking. And snap now you walking. Walk those streets, bitch. Understand me? Alright, we're here, so let me get the Kakashi Scroll. Yes. Alright, let me see what I get. Young Leaf Iron Knuckles. Ooh! They got different styles. Okay, I'm gonna come back with some money. Get a different hairstyle. Yeah! No, fuck that. Nope. Nope. Yeah, definitely, maybe. Yeah. Oh, this is perfect as fuck. I like this one. Oh, shut the fuck up, come on, man. Fuck off. I'm gonna put some belly in, cause okay, shut the fuck up, Sakura. Cool.
Here's
It's Christmas, so I'm gonna put this because it's Christmas. I'll put just be goofy. Just be. Damn, I got a lot of machine guns and all that shit. I don't even know why. Where the fuck I even... Put chick. Well, singing's pretty good, but I like taijutsu techniques, so.
Who loves his bamboo razor? You do. Such a good man using less plastic. And that glorious bum chin. I call it the Chinaliza.
Whoa! Speak of the devil. What? Oh,
Oi, the booty of Bobby's. It's adorable. I'm gonna bother the shit out of him today because he's adorable. I just wanna kiss him, kiss. And I just wanna kiss the puppies. Yeah, I just wanna kiss the puppies. Wow, 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 wow. Gambar. Bunyi. Nanti. Pergi bang, coba tuh. Pergi bang, coba sini. Pergi bang. Yang kedua, coba deh. Pergi bang. Ayo bang. Pergi bang. Good boy. súbete, órale a la cama, órale, no seas cabrón, a la cama. No la voy a volver a decir, ¿ok?
If you clear several missions with your master, I'm sure you'll be able to acquire some new abilities. Don't fall behind.
Yo, that's the spot. Hey, that's the spot.
Good work! It looks like you completed all the missions we prepared. Now, prepare for the final explanation before you enter the tournament. All right. He'll tell you everything you need to know from here on. Now go on and hurry to the Hokage's estate.
Yo!
7.
Good work there. Now then. So next, there, only the strong and confident. Prepare well, and do your best.
Now, let me teach you how to participate in the Ninja World League. And there you go. You're all ready.
Now you can participate in the tournament whenever you want. You'll need to keep, and you won't know how. Show me what.
I'm expecting. In order to work together with your allies and always think about it.
No, I don't want rage. Oh, fuck. Let me get out of this. I don't want fucking rage. At all. And by the way, I'm not a fucking kid, so don't try.
Time to test my strength. No holding back.
Man, I fucking hate this, man. I pick range like an idiot. Oh.
That's the spot.
Oh, shit. Oh my god, we on the same level, man. Oh no, he fucking mud though. Oh, you mad? I really want to do this, bitch. Nobody's attacking me, holy Jesus. I was out, boys. I was out. They team up on me. Hey, how do you, anybody with a mic, how do you even sprint in this game? You can't sprint? Oh, there you go. Oh shit! First KO! I'm sniping niggas. Sniping niggas up! Look at this black up!
That's the spot.
My teammates are dying. We need to go. I got this nigga on. You guys focus on that. You guys focus on. Oh yeah, you wanna play with this shit, bitch ass nigga? Oh, he's combo. I can't even use it. Oh, I can't use it yet. Bitch! Boom! KO! Damn, I got fucked with the frog. Why about fuck the frog so I can log in? Fuck the frog so I can log in so I can get this point. No fan base in this shit because nobody wants to join me and shit. I'm still Devil's Reject and shit. Whoa, we still lost, but fuck it, it was a fun match. I'll send that guy fly with a fucking explosion. It's the first time using range. It's pretty good, but I still stand out with my, combat. No!
Do your best.
Nigga, use a bitch ass anytime beside my own. Well, I could, but I'm gonna have to fucking touch me.
What'll it be? Wow.
My God, I'm getting all these fucking woman ones. I know. They're bogus. Hey, watch. Woman.
Wanna fight? What'll it be?
Hello.
Can't lose this one.
Hello. Hello.
The manuscript pages are all in the village. I won't be able to gather all these up on my own. Hey, you! Can you help me gather up these important documents that have been scattered all over the village? I'll give you a reward, of course. Please, just help me out.
I don't even know how to fucking... How you jump up, bro?
You really helped me out here. We managed to find them all. Huh? You want to know what these pages belong to? A book that never saw the light of day. But now, at long last, I finally found it. I never thought I'd uncover an issue of the Makeout series that I'd never read, though. No, wait. This isn't part of the Makeout series. It's something completely different. I think I'll need to go over there and give it a deep read. The style looks so much different from before. But why? Yes, this has its own charm.
How do you recharge chakra?
Oh.
How the fuck he does that? I'm learning. I'm watching him how he does it. Okay, I see you.
Your reward? Oh, right. I completely forgot. I thought for a minute you got interested in this and were coming to steal it. Here's the reward I promised you.
Go ahead.
Now, I need to concentrate. Yes, what a good development.
8:30 p.m.
Estaba solita. Dapet tahu. Oi, dapet tahu. Itu mama putu pudi. Ini aku pudi. Oh, you bitch! You try to kill me. I'm gonna go sleep. Nobody even. Oh, that's where I was at. What the fuck? The 3 notifications for you, nigga.
$5 off any order of $20 or more.
tailored business insurance coverage to perfectly fit your unique needs of your business online right now.
Hear that needle talk? You'd think something was gonna happen to us.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 fates worse than death in movies.
I seem to be stricken by a disease with a purpose, wouldn't you say?
For this list, we're looking at movie fates so twisted that the release of death actually seems like a more peaceful alternative. Since we'll be discussing the fates of several characters, a spoiler alert is in order. Which fate do you think is worse than death? Let us know in the comments.
If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below.
Number 10, Trapped in the Sunken Place. Get out.
Now, sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
You'll find throughout this list that most of these fates tie into the notion of being powerless. Take Chris Washington, for example. Unknowingly sitting down to a hypnosis session with his girlfriend's mother, Chris is commanded to sink into the floor. Chris suddenly finds himself in a dark void where he can see and hear what's happening around him, but he can no longer control his body. Chris eventually learns that several others have had their bodies taken over, with their consciousness trapped in the sunken place. Director Jordan Peele compared the sunken place to becoming a prisoner in your own mind.
Now you're in the sunken place.
Imprisonment is one thing, but watching somebody steal your life and being virtually helpless to reclaim it gives us an appropriately sinking feeling.
You were one of my favorites.
Number 9, The Iron Maiden, The Old Guard. This action film centers on a group of practically immortal mercenaries. Since they're able to survive almost anything that comes their way, you wouldn't think that the stakes would be especially high. Self-healing can be a blessing and a curse, however. Immortal Queed is willing to accept any fate as long as Andy is with her.
Just you and me. Until the end.
Not only is Queed separated from her close comrade, but her punishment is beyond metal, or iron in this case. Knowing that she'll continually revive herself, her captors ensnare Queed in an Iron Maiden and drop it into the sea, where she is forced to drown over and over again. It's later revealed that Queed eventually escaped, but can anyone truly recover mentally from such torture and trauma? Not to mention isolation?
It's nice to finally meet you.
13 years ago, Subaru created the Share the Love event, where our new owners could choose a national or hometown charity.
Number 8, Red Skull's Punishment, Avengers Infinity War. For Johann Schmidt, aka Red Skull, getting sucked into a wormhole was only the beginning.
We all think that at first. We are all wrong.
In Avengers Infinity War, Red Skull resurfaces on the planet Vormir, where he's forced to guard the Soul Stone for more than 7 decades as punishment. Unable to claim the Soul Stone for himself, Red Skull can only advise those who seek it.
But it cast me out, banished me here, guiding others to a treasure I cannot possess.
Not exactly the most fulfilling existence, and the dreary scenery doesn't help. We can immediately tell that the years of solitude have taken a toll on Red Skull. Once cunning and charismatic, he now appears defeated and, for lack of a better word, soulless.
In order to take the stone, you must lose that which you love. A soul for a soul.
In one timeline at least, Red Skull's curse is broken when Thanos retrieves the Soul Stone, but where does one go from there? Number 7, The Phantom Zone, Superman. The Phantom Zone is definitely one of the most unique prisons ever depicted on screen, as well as one of the most unnerving. In the first two Superman movies, it's seen as a flat mirror-like object that was created by Jor-El. For their acts of treason, General Zod, Ursa, and Nan are sentenced to the Phantom Zone, getting launched into space. Helplessly flying through space is a chilling notion, and the Phantom Zone's otherworldly nature only adds to the dread. Although Zod is one of the most commanding villains in the Superman lore, even he is visibly intimidated by the punishment that Jor-El has cooked up for him. Ironically, it's Jor-El's son who inadvertently frees the Kryptonian criminals, who are ready for some payback. Number 6. Becoming a Donkey, Pinocchio.
Hear that needle talk? You'd think something was gonna happen to us.
Disney's version of Pinocchio might not be as grim as the book it's based on, but the fate of Lampwick and the other naughty boys on Pleasure Island still haunts us. Enticing children with cigars, beer, and treats, the coachman plans to turn the boys into donkeys and sell them into slave labor. Some, like Lampwick, are deprived of their ability to speak. It's unknown what exactly happens to the donkeys who can still talk, although we imagine it's not pretty. It's the uncertainty that makes their fate so disturbing. We never see any of them change back into boys, leaving us to assume that they all spend the rest of their days in the salt mines, at the circus, or hee-hawing for their mothers.
The boys, they're all donkeys. Oh, you too. Come on, quick, before you get any worse.
Number 5. The Dementor's Kiss. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Avada Kedavra may be the most fatal curse in the wizarding world, but there are arguably worse fates. Just as unforgivable is the Cruciatus Curse, which tortures victims into insanity. Using this torture curse on another person could land you in Azkaban prison. If you escape Azkaban and are recaptured, the worst fate of all may await. Sirius Black is almost subjected to the Dementor's Kiss, which involves having his soul sucked out. Although still technically living, the kiss's recipient is stripped of everything that made them feel alive. Many people take comfort in the idea that a soul lives on in death. While it's unclear what becomes of the soul after the Dementor consumes it, the kiss derives victims of any comfort whatsoever. Number 4. The Sarlacc Pit. Star Wars Episode 6. Return of the Jedi. Getting frozen in carbonite is no day at the beach, but Han Solo is in store for an even ruder awakening after being unfrozen. Jabba the Hutt sends Luke, Chewbacca, and Han all to the Great Pit of Carkoon where, well, C-3PO explains it better than we ever could.
You will therefore be taken to the Dune Sea and cast to the pit of Carkoon, the nesting place of the all-powerful Sarlacc.
Doesn't sound so bad.
Getting eaten by a carnivorous beast is never a pleasant way to go, but it's the prolonged period of digestion that makes Sarlacc so blood-curdling.
Second thought, let's pass on that, huh?
It's a fate that's slow, gruesome, and pretty gross when you think about it. Although our heroes are spared such a dismal exit, some of Jabba's guards aren't so lucky. Of course, just because you fall into the pit doesn't necessarily mean that escape is futile. Just ask Boba Fett.
Now get one of our best 5G phones on us when you buy one, and get $500 when you switch. That's Verizon.
Apartments.com puts more renters in new homes than any other website. How? By sniffing out more
Number 3. Buried alive or blinded and left with a snake. Kill Bill Volume 2. Few things are scarier than being buried alive. Surrounded by darkness, seemingly all you can do is wait for suffocation, dehydration, or starvation to take its toll. Fortunately, the bride uses the 1-inch punch technique to break free. Too bad poor Ryan Reynolds didn't know that one. Upon squaring off with Elle Driver back at Bud's trailer, the bride gives her old rival an eyeful. We're not saying that visual impairment is worse than death, as many blind people live happy, fulfilling lives. Having your one eye ripped out and being left for dead with a black mamba, however, is another story. Although the bride could deliver a finishing blow, leaving Elle desperately screaming is a far crueler punishment for what she's done. Number 2, becoming a human fly. The Fly. On paper, becoming a human fly hybrid might sound kind of cool. Your strength would be enhanced and you could crawl on the ceiling. What's not to like? After seeing what Seth Brundle goes through, however, we'd rather just get swatted like a common housefly.
I seem to be stricken by a disease with a purpose, wouldn't you say?
Release doesn't come so easily to Seth. His transformation into Brundle Fly is a gradual, not to mention repulsive one. Seth loses his teeth and hair, while his skin is beyond dermatology treatment. As if becoming a disgusting creature isn't bad enough, Seth's sanity begins to crumble as well.
Have you ever heard of insect politics? Have you ever thought?
Just when you think that things can't possibly get any worse, the Brundle Fly's body is fused with lab equipment. When Ronnie shoots the suffering Seth, it's an act of mercy above all else. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few other fates worse than death honorable mentions. Please try to stay positive. Turned into a walrus. Tusk. Still better than being a fly, but not by much.
Oh, I missed you, Mr. Tusk.
Trapped in Emily's head. Being John Malkovich. Watching both of his ex-wives live happily ever after together.
Oh, look away. Look away. Look away. Look away.
Stinky Pete's makeover. Toy Story 2. He probably would have preferred rotting in some landfill.
Hi, you like Amy. She's an artist.
Under the Moonlight. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. A life without pleasure or pain isn't really living at all.
The moonlight shows us folks.
It's worse than death honorable mention. Please try to stay positive. Turned into a walrus. Tusk.
This episode brought to you by HelloFresh.
Holy shit, did you find him? No, we only found death off the Chukchi Peninsula.
It'd be so easy for Long to come across as too annoying or Parks too over the top, but they find the perfect balance of both suspenseful and hilarious.
No, always do sober what you do drunk. That'll teach you to keep your mouth shut.
Hemingway said that.
He said it to me.
I could see a stage play of just these two talking. It's that engaging. Yeah, horror movie tip number 1. Never drink anything. Jesus, I believe he actually drugged himself. That fall was so good. We flash back to his girlfriend, Allie, played by Genesis Rodriguez, who was going down on him before he left. If this is what you dream about after talking to this guy, you're a spider bitch. And affordable. He calls 911, or the guy cheating with his woman. That makes sense.
It's me.
Phil. My life.
So the spread of paper that he borrowed, I would...
Ha! Just as I expected. Seeing how he's become a full-on animal, guy aims the gun at him. Doesn't shoot. Yeah, note to self, erase from script. And he's visited at an animal sanctuary by Ellie and Teddy, resulting in a flashback.
So I don't cry. I mean...
It's just... I find it stupid.
Para sobrevivir,
Ok, súbete. 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 Stay.
John Griffin Johnson, the Armchair Historian. Mentioning the Vietnam War is one of the fastest ways to spark controversy in any military history community. Opinions will rage back and forth about whether or not the USA was justified in its intervention, what mistakes it made, and if America really ever had a chance of victory. But while topics such as these are very common, what is much less talked about is the perspective of the Vietnamese people during the conflict, their motivations, the agenda of their leaders, and how they endured nearly 20 years of bloody, vicious guerrilla warfare. This video will seek to explain their side of the story, as well as provide context for the stubborn spirit of resistance that enabled Vietnam to hold out against the American juggernaut despite all efforts to beat them into submission. Supporting our sponsors is the best way to support our channel. Today's video is brought to you by Conflict of Nations, a free online player versus player strategy game with millions of users worldwide. Command your own nation and lead your people to victory through weeks of planning, strategizing, and coordination with or against up to 64 real players at a time. In addition, Armchair Historian fans who sign up by clicking our special link below will receive 13,000 gold and a free month of premium subscription. This offer is only available for the next 30 days. So click the link in the description below, choose your country, and start fighting your way to victory now. To understand the attitude of the Vietnamese during the war, one must first be aware of Vietnam's history of occupation and exploitation by foreign powers. First, there was China, which spent 1,000 years trying to absorb the nation through both conquest and cultural assimilation. However, by the 19th century, China was undergoing its own negative experiences with colonialism, as powerful European empires began expanding into Asia and destroying the old status quo. With Chinese influence on the wane, it seemed as if Vietnam might have a chance to stand on its own. But a small squadron of French warships would promptly crush those hopes. Unable to resist this technologically superior foe, the Nguyen imperial dynasty ruling Vietnam at the time quickly capitulated. And by 1884, most of Vietnam had become part of the greater colonial union of French Indochina. With the Nguyen court reduced to a puppet administration, colonial governors operated with virtually no oversight from the French state and were allowed to use any and all means at their disposal to suppress any hint of native resistance. Often this extended to the point of criminalizing the mere act of identifying oneself as Vietnamese. Trapped in a thoroughly miserable existence, the Vietnamese peasants were desperate for a savior, any savior. But after decades of failed revolts and horrific reprisals, the iron grip of colonialism remained as strong as ever. Yet, unbeknownst to the peasantry, the seeds of a new revolution were already being sown, not in the plantations or even in the courts of the Nguyen bureaucracy, but in the coffee houses of Paris, where the few Vietnamese lucky enough to scrape together enough money to afford a Western education were debating the merits of a strange, radical new ideology known as communism. Unlike any political ideology at the time, communism promised freedom and equality for those laboring under the yoke of capitalistic imperialism, and so spread like wildfire from the moment it was introduced from overseas, becoming Vietnam's dominant underground political movement by the early 1930s. Central to the communist movement in Vietnam was the unassuming son of a disgraced bureaucrat called Nguyen Sinh Quong, or, as he is more commonly known, Ho Chi Minh. After leaving Vietnam sometime in the 1910s, Ho Chi Minh drifted around Europe, visiting both the United States and possibly Britain. As early as 1918, he was a dedicated anti-imperialist, joining the group of Vietnamese patriots, which petitioned the French government for independence during the Treaty of Versailles. In 1920, he was one of the many communists avidly following the progress of Vladimir Lenin's October Revolution in Russia, the success of which proved beyond any doubt that the imperialist system could be overthrown through force of arms. Inspired by Lenin's success, Ho Chi Minh chaired the first meeting of what would become the Indo-Chinese Communist Party, or ICP, in 1930, with the express goal of ending colonial rule of his native country. But for all of his early efforts, regime change in Vietnam would not originate with the Vietnamese, but would instead be instigated from the most unlikely of sources, Imperial Japan. In 1940, Japan invaded Vietnam as part of their efforts to establish the Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere, or in other words, a series of client states under imperial domination. In 1945, they officially annexed the country and expelled all Western influences, including the entire French colonial administration. Mere months later, the Japanese surrendered to the Allies, and with their collapse, Vietnam's century-old political order had come crashing down, leaving total chaos in its wake. It was during this last chaotic year of the occupation that Ho Chi Minh truly came into his own as leader. He had returned to Vietnam in 1941 to organize a major resistance movement against Japanese forces known as the Viet Minh, and by 1945 he was leading an army of at least 10,000 communist guerrillas. His long-awaited revolution began on August 15th, before even the ink on the Japanese instrument of surrender had time to dry. With the French colonial forces in Vietnam having been disarmed by the Japanese earlier that year, there was a brief window in time where the Viet Minh had free run of the entire country. But far from screaming defiance at the hated Western imperialists, Ho Chi Minh was instead positively desperate to secure a friendship with the United States. This was due in large part to the activities of the U.S. Office of Strategic Services, or OSS, which had made contact with the Viet Minh in 1945 and selected Ho Chi Minh as their primary contact within Vietnam. Part of what enabled the close relationship between America and the Viet Minh was their lack of a traditional communist agenda. Despite Ho Chi Minh's unabashed belief in the ideology, his primary goal was always the liberation of Vietnam. As he himself stated, at first patriotism, not yet communism. As a result, both Joseph Stalin and Mao Zedong initially distrusted Ho Chi Minh for his unwillingness to make class warfare a priority above national freedom. This, however, struck a chord with American observers, who were naturally sympathetic to the idea of an oppressed nation throwing off the shackles of a domineering imperialist regime. Thus, OSS operatives celebrated alongside the peasantry when Ho Chi Minh declared the Democratic Republic of Vietnam on September 2nd, 1945. In his opening speech, he began with words familiar to every American. Behind him on the podium stood OSS Major Archimedes Patty, and as the speech came to a close, a plane bearing U.S. markings flew over the assembled crowd, which greeted its appearance with thunderous applause. All across the nation, Americans were seen as heroes and liberators, and for a moment, it seemed as if this would be the start of a glorious new relationship between East and West. Of course, we all know that this was never really an option. The French wanted their colonies back, and the newly elected President Truman had no interest in cooperating with an openly communist regime. After negotiations with the French broke down completely, the Vietnamese had no choice but to fight for their independence, and the First Indochina War began on December 16, 1946. During this time, the Nguyen dynasty attempted to reassert its control over the nation, with the 13th emperor, Bao Dai, siding with the French and resuming his place as a puppet ruler over their occupied territories. As the war dragged on, the U.S. began sending aid to the French, but after their dramatic defeat at Dien Bien Phu in 1954, they agreed to new negotiations with the Viet Minh. The ensuing treaty split the country in two halves, the DRV in the north and the state of Vietnam in the south. Bao Dai was then unceremoniously ousted by his Prime Minister, Ngo Dinh Diem, after a referendum determined the state of Vietnam should become a republic. However, this was hardly a triumph of democracy over imperialism, for Diem was utterly corrupt, and the referendum was blatantly rigged. Diem even went so far as to deliberately ignore the French promise that the South would be allowed to vote on whether or not to obvious that the Diem had no intention of unification, DRV-backed insurgents began popping up all over the South, causing him to become even more anti-communist, and in turn causing America to offer increasing amounts of aid to his administration. However, Diem proved to be a fickle ally, often refusing to cooperate with his U.S. backers, especially in regards to rural development and land management. In 1963, tensions finally came to a head when Diem was abruptly assassinated in a military coup d'etat that was aided by the CIA. This, combined with the Gulf of Tonkin incident in 1964, paved the way for a full-scale U.S. invasion. From the outset of war, Vietnamese generals knew that a conventional victory was impossible. America was simply too powerful to defeat using traditional battlefield tactics. But the huge rural population of the South was already mostly under the sway of the DRV-backed National Liberation Front, or more commonly known as the Viet Cong, or VC. The VC, in combination with the People's Army of Vietnam, waged a successful series of campaigns against the disorganized South Vietnamese until large numbers of American troops began arriving in 1965. Following American involvement, the conflict began to shift into a war of attrition. Vietnamese defense strategy revolved around their extensive network of tunnels, which many likened more to underground cities than mere military strongholds. Over 200 miles, or 321 kilometers of tunnel were dug during the war, with the largest system at Cu Che being just 20 miles, or 32 kilometers outside Saigon. Their importance was summed up in the words of Colonel Chow Long. We knew the Americans were determined to find and destroy the tunnel system. They understood, as did we, however Cu Che went, so did the war. It was our determination not to lose even 1 centimeter of the tunnels. It was a contest of wills, resulting in some very fierce fighting. We made a tremendous sacrifice to gain victory. 2 years after its arrival, the United States of America expanded its bombing campaigns across North Vietnam in an effort to break their will to fight. When a North Vietnamese civilian saw the first B-57 bombers open their bomb bays over his home province of Quang Minh, his first thought was not to flee in panic, but was instead, why is a mother airplane dropping baby airplanes? Having miraculously survived the initial attack, he gathered his family and fled for the nearby caves. He later recalled to a journalist, "People didn't talk about the meaning of the war. We were really confused why the Americans tried to invade our homeland. We hadn't done anything to them." Sadly, the citizens of Vietnam had much more to fear than American bombs. When Viet Cong guerrillas went to ground among the rural peasantry, U.S. forces responded by declaring any villages with a suspected VC presence as free fire zones. Then came the infamous My Lai massacre on March 16, 1968, when at least 347 unarmed civilians were brutally executed by American soldiers. Although the heroic actions of a U.S. helicopter crew saved a few innocent lives, most were not so fortunate, and My Lai would go on to become known as the worst war crime ever perpetrated by U.S. soldiers in Vietnam. As traumatizing as the war was for the civilian population, it was arguably just as bad for the Vietnamese soldiers on account of how long most were expected to serve on the front lines. Lê Cao Dai, head of surgery at a military hospital, later recalled, "When we were called to go south, everyone was very excited. As it turned out, while I only planned to stay for 6 months, I ended up staying for 8 years. Given Given these extended deployment times, Vietnamese soldiers quickly became hardened to the horrors of war and had little mercy for any Americans unfortunate enough to fall into their grasp. American pilots were especially due to their indiscriminate bombing campaigns, and many were tortured to death after they bailed out over Vietnamese territory. To keep their populace motivated and stave off the effects of war weariness, the DRV maintained strong and effective propaganda campaigns throughout the conflict. The mastermind behind these campaigns was Vo Nguyen Giap, a renowned military leader who had fought alongside Ho Chi Minh since the 1940s. People quickly formed long queues to purchase his newspapers and listen to loudspeaker broadcasts about the latest developments on the front lines. With minimal access to international news, people of the North were easily swayed by party rhetoric and quickly came to regard the war as a necessary and righteous struggle against yet another imperialist aggressor. By contrast, the urban population of the South could listen to foreign news reports and had a much more conflicted attitude towards the violence tearing apart their nation. The success of the Vietnamese propaganda machine was demonstrated following the Tet Offensive of 1968, which caught U.S. forces completely by surprise. Amidst the chaos, VC infiltrators launched an attack on the American embassy in Saigon, penetrating the compound and opening fire on the Chancery building with rocket-propelled grenades. Although the building withstood the assault, the fact that such an attack had occurred at all was psychologically devastating to the USA, proving that not even the capital city of South Vietnam was safe from communist infiltration. The Tet Offensive also brought the reality of war to the urban population of the South, leading many to lose confidence in the Western-backed government. By the early 1970s, the endless jungle warfare had taken their toll on both sides. But the DRV remained defiant, while U.S. morale had plummeted to the point where soldiers were openly ignoring orders and deserting in record numbers. Desperate to at least preserve the status quo, America began pouring resources into strengthening the South Vietnamese army while pulling out its own traumatized troops out of the conflict. But it was too little, too late, and in 1975, a massive offensive by the DRV, known as the Ho Chi Minh Campaign, smashed through the defenses around Saigon and decapitated the Republic. After almost 20 years of war,